Good evening and welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Chris McElwain for the second time today. It's not just double denim, it's double done, I think, tonight, Lawrence, because it's my second shift hosting. Paul John is actually, for once, in something that we've actually been asking him to do for a long time, he's actually getting to the game tonight. For those who don't know, Paul John does actually have a season ticket, but he very rarely gets to the games because, of course, he's usually hosting Axum. So we've managed to convince him to go tonight. The unfortunate side to that is you're stuck with me, but great compensation. I've come in with a brand new signing. Well, not that new actually. He's an old signing, but he's a good old signing. And that's Lawrence Connolly, live from the famous Skylark Bar. How are you tonight, Lawrence?
Doing well, Still getting over the disappointment that transfer window was. Listen, we've done a lot of things right in it, and I think everybody's disappointed, Brendan included. We didn't add that top quality striker, to really build the squad. Not ensure that the league and hopefully the treble this year and really build for Europe next year. I'm hopeful we'll beat Bayern at home. Away, maybe not so much, but hopefully we'll still beat them at home. So, it's knockout football in Europe, isn't it? Everybody's got a puncher's chance. You win your home game, who knows?
Absolutely. And that was the view that John Hartson relayed the other night at the live Axum event. He said, a lot of people talk about the tie being unwinnable, he says, but when you're playing the first leg at home, it gives you something to hold on to when you get away. And he would take any, Celtic to beat any team at home. So would I, for that matter. And I think both of us have shared some cracking nights at Celtic Park. The AC Milan, Barcelona, Bucharest. You name it. We've had some absolutely cracking nights there. Juve as well. Yeah, of course.
Johnny Doyle.
That's it. And listen. We've had some good results away. Remember that Naka free kick against Man United? So everything is possible. Everything is possible. I think we should certainly look forward to the ties. But before we get there, we do have a game tonight. We're up against Dundee. This is the rescheduled game from the 25th when it was storm disrupted. Thankfully, Celtic Park now in better shape. Looking forward to seeing the crowd tonight. And a certain Portuguese superstar making his re-debut at home in front of the fans. If you enjoyed hearing the fans sing his song away from home the other night, Lawrence, he'll hear it in abundance tonight, surely.
Yeah, listen, it was a great cameo for him at Fir Park, which after a European game, it's always dangerous. You might drop some points. That was 3-1 going on 6-1, wasn't it? The scoreline flattered to deceive them. It wouldn't be Fir Park without a controversial offside decision. And they show you an image that really shows nothing, doesn't it? You're kind of going, I have no idea what you're trying to show me in that image.
Absolutely.
It's just crazy. Hopefully we can get 2 or 3 up early doors here.
It would be nice. We spoke earlier today in the afternoon with the lads that Tony Docherty, he's pretty cunning when it comes to the way he sets up his team. But I believe quite injury ravaged tonight, quite a few players out. So you're hoping we can take advantage of that. It looks like Brendan's put out a very strong team, which I'll bring up just now, and we can talk through it. So we start off with the usual back line essentially. So Schmeichel, Johnson, Carter Vickers, Trusty, and Taylor. We then have what I think is many people's view is one of the strongest midfield combinations we can have with Callum McGregor, Arnott Engels and Rio Hatate. And then maybe in a slight surprise, Jota does start with Maeda on the other flank. So you'd assume Jota's on the right tonight with Aaron Ida up front. That does mean that Kuhn has dropped to the bench alongside Sinisalo, Scales, Yang, McCowan. Our new signing, Jeff Schlupp, and we've also got Kenny, Bernardo and Ralston. So it's a familiar but relatively strong lineup, I'd say. Lawrence, what's your immediate thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's great to see Jota starting. Kuhn probably needed a rest. He's had a lot of football, and if you want to have a chance of beating Bayern, it's probably ideal to give him a rest. He's been looking tired in some games. So Jota could do with minutes. The midfield, that seems to be Brendan's preferred 3 just now. We'll expect to change 5 out the front 6 anyway. So if they're not starting, they'll be coming on. If we get 2 or 3 up, you might even see some minutes for Kenny. Hopefully we see Schlupp at some time to see the solitary deadline day signing and see what he's got for us. He's an APL level player.
Yeah,
he's got things that Brendan speaks about: physicality, pace, power. So he could be a good addition for the next 6 months. And to see what
Absolutely,
it takes.
yeah. And we compared them earlier to the signings of players like Moy, for example, who came in and added that bit of experience and that bit of assurance in the middle of the park. You'd be looking for Schlipp to come in and have a similar sort of effect, particularly down that depending on where he's deployed. But if we assume he's going to be deployed maybe on the left hand side when he does come on, it's an area where we've looked a wee bit vulnerable at times.
Yeah, it could be on the left. He can even play centre mid. He can play up front. He might maybe in midfield. Maybe he'll bring a bit of steel to the game. Certainly, weak at the back post. He gives us an extra bit of height. He probably is more of a Moy level loan signing than a Robbie Keane or Craig Bellamy.
You had to get Robbie in, didn't you? You had to get Robbie in.
It's one of those, mate. But listen, he's in the door. Hopefully, he adds something to the squad for the run in. We win tonight. You're then faced with 13 clear, with 13 to play. 2 games in Europe, and top of that takes us to 15, and probably 3 in a cup, I think it is. So 18 game season. It's you want to go and win the treble, don't you? But it's about doing it, first time round tonight, isn't it? It's get these 3 points in the back. Tony Docherty sets up attacking teams. So they were injury ravaged at Dens Park, and they gave us a bit of a game up there. You just hope that we can kick on here and just Brendan's got them focused for the run in. This is getting down to business end. We've got 1 trophy in the cabinet. We just want to keep back to business as usual in Scotland. 3 points at Celtic Park, move on.
Absolutely, it's a bread and butter. And actually, when you break it down the way you did there, and I know we've had a degree of frustration over the transfer window, particularly the deadline day, maybe expecting more incomings. But I think when you break it down, it's a hell of a good position to be in terms of the season. We've qualified for the next round in Europe, which I think would have been one of our key objectives at the start of the season. We've actually, throughout the transfer window, we've managed to shift what a lot of people term the driftwood, players that weren't necessarily contributing as much, and obviously that gives Brendan, a more condensed and probably more cohesive squad to work with. Okay, we've lost Kyogo. We know what he was bringing to the table, albeit I don't think he was having his best season. But we spent 9 million on Aramida, and he's picked up the mantle really well in the last couple of games. So you hope he continues that. Obviously, Jota coming in doesn't just bring all that quality that we know he has, but he takes a little bit of pressure off Maeda. Certainly long term, that's what you'd expect, or gives you the option to play him on the right and gives us that opportunity to rest a player like Kuhn, who I think is probably fair to say we want to wrap in cotton wool for Europe as much as we can. So we're not quite in as bad a situation as I think many of us may have felt at the time. And it's always worse right after the transfer window when you've got expectations. But we're doing all right, and there's lots and lots to play for. With that said, you're right. I mean, not to coin Brendan Rodgers, 1 game at a time at the moment. Nothing is guaranteed until it's mathematically impossible to be caught. And yeah, we've just got to kick on and play tonight. How would you see us approach the game tonight? Do you think we'll be quick from the off, or will it be a bit more tentative?
Definitely. Brendan will want to, get ahead early. Brendan's style of football: retain the ball, try to turn it over fast when we lose it. Yeah, we've got most goals scored in the league, no surprise. So it will be try and get ahead early. And if possible, get the new signing on. Maybe get Kenny some minutes if we're far enough ahead. But yeah, I think you touched on it. Disappointing transfer when there's more what could have been. But on reflection, with a front 4 of what Kyogo, Maeda, Aida and Kuhn, and now I've got Jota, Kuhn, Maeda and Aida. Out of those front 4, which one's the strongest? Who knows? We're not worse off, I don't think. Just I think a top level striker could have put us a lot better off.
Yeah, yes.
We just need to wait till the summer for that. Maybe we'll get 2 R9 goal level players this summer. Who knows?
Oh, if you thought that was guaranteed, you'd take it, wouldn't you? You'd take it. Yeah,
just on. I know they worked in a lot of them.
Yeah,
that not every deal you go for happens. That the club's got to be willing to sell, and I still, although Big Ida stepped up at, if we pay 9 million for him, I think Norwich really pushed us at that time. They knew we were desperate. I think maybe Celtic didn't want that happening again with Brøndby. Maybe they thought, what, you're trying to push the price up on us to more than we're comfortable paying just now, and we'll leave it to summer.
Makes sense. Just on Aramida then, in your view, Lawrence, do you think now that he's obviously, you'd say, established as a number one striker, is he more of a Brendan Rodgers type player? This is something Paddy Sinnott spoke about today, but I'm interested to get your view on it. I think Kyogo sometimes struggled to impose himself in the Brendan style, maybe didn't quite get the service that he was looking for. Aramida's a different player, isn't he? Do you think he's more adaptable to the style of football that Brendan wants to play?
But Brendan always talks about power and physicality in his players. I think Adam's definitely got the upper hand in Kyogo in both of those things. Talk about service to Kyogo. I mean, Ange had his own problems with Kyogo having to tell him, listen, get in the 6-yard box, get between the posts. It's the winger's job to put the ball in there for you. So I think, Ange acknowledged that, and it was one of Kyogo's faults, or one of the areas that could have strengthened, is stop wandering back so far. Just make sure you're in the box. Was he getting the service? I don't know. Kun seems to get pretty good service. Same with Maeda. So, yeah, it didn't work as well, but I think he didn't score as many goals under Brendan, but I think that's maybe the way Brendan sets his team up. He likes to spread the goals about. If you've been losing a guy that had scored half your goals so far this season, it's a bigger miss than losing Kyogo and the amount he's scored so far this season. So, yeah, I think that's definitely more of a Brendan-style player in terms of physicality and power. He's maybe a player who likes to be the main man. He's certainly risen to the occasion since he knew that, what we're counting on you. You're not just getting 20, 30 minutes off the bench now. We need you to be the main man. And he's stepped up. Last 3 games has been really good. So he'll be wanting to kick on. He'll be hearing all the rumours about Celtic signing a striker, and he's probably thinking, well, I'm here. He's paid £9 million for me. Maybe I want to show you you don't need to sign another £9 or £10 million guy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's his. I think he should be viewing it as his jersey to lose at the moment. So, good opportunity to kick on, show what he can do, and I think the last couple of games he's certainly shown that. On the midfield, Lawrence, we've obviously, it's probably the area of the pitch that's been most rotated this season. So we've got obviously Kalmak, Engels, and Hatate in tonight. Hatate's obviously upped his performances recently, getting a lot more praise. He was under a fair bit of scrutiny probably just a handful of games ago. Kalmak seems to be under kind of similar scrutiny at the moment. Engels went through a bit of a purple patch there and then maybe just dipped slightly. But would you have expected maybe see McCowan or even Bernardo getting some minutes tonight?
No, I thought Brendan would start with his strongest, and he views this as his strongest. I think you're right. Hatate, terrible dip in form, lasted most of the season, but he's always had it in him to be that wee bit of magic, didn't he? That special pass. But his output and his performances have upped in the last few weeks. He's probably one that's coming to the end of the cycle with us. So he may be somebody that moves on this summer. We'll see. Engels, I think, has been great since he's come in. I know the Scottish press like to say, you're not getting enough for your money, but I think he's been absolutely outstanding. What's his only blot in his copybook? A missed penalty, is that it?
One missed penalty.
Yeah, apart from that, I think he's been great. Callum's just absolutely phenomenal. 500 games now, coming in for criticism. I don't know, I think domestically we're so far ahead of the opposition. Sometimes I think people just look for things to pick on. Callum's not as good as he used to be or whatever, but do you know what? He's just a machine, Callum, isn't he? The amount of games and the level he's been since he came back from Notts County, it's just been phenomenal. And he represents the club so well. So, if this is Callum not playing well, just wait till he finds form again. And, so quite happy with that midfield. Hatate, he's starting to get into the groove again. So, listen, maybe it suits him better with Ida up front. Maybe it's different. Maybe Ida's, leads the line a wee bit better. Don't know. Yeah. But he's certainly looking to be enjoying his football again. And quarterback, mate, it's just got to be, what a cameo it was. 3 shots, 1 goal, 20 odd minutes. What can he do?
Everything. I know. I mean, I doubt he'll get the 90 today. I think he'll probably get to about 59, 60. But it was. I mean, you couldn't have written it better, could you? I think he said that himself in his interview. But he came on, he looked lively. I thought initially he was doing the right sort of things. He wasn't trying to be overly flashy. He was doing a lot of simple stuff, just trying to blink in with the play, find his feet, But he looked, he looked strong. He looked, certainly like he was hungry for the ball. There were very few negatives in it, and then he just capped it. Icing on a cake with the goal, and we saw what it meant to him. And he's there's been an outpouring of support from the fan base around his reaction to that. A few criticisms from some expected quarters, some not so much, but that's what you love to see in football, isn't it? Somebody that actually is so pleased to have this second chance at our club and reacting that way.
Well, it looked like he'd never been away. He talked about being home. Maybe he wasn't born a Celtic supporter. I think Jock Stein said that he wasn't born one, but he died one. And Gordon Strachan said, much the same. He's somebody that when he famously went down the Brazen Head. He really bought into the culture of Celtic Football Club. So it's great to have him back. I actually think we've got the better of the deal. We've got a player now on probably a 4.5-year contract with a year's option, so 5.5 years. Kyogo with a year and a half left. He was 30. Yeah. We've got a younger player. I think his ceiling price is higher than Kyogo's. He's not carrying that dodgy shoulder. So I think out the deal, phenomenal, to get Jota and, Kyogo going the other way. I know it's two separate deals, but yeah, I think we've got the best part of that, and more than happy. Brendan talks about building something, and I think that's maybe why he was so disappointed Kyogo wanted to go. But you're starting to look. So we've kept Cameron Carter-Vickers. Schmeichel's on another deal. KT's coming back. We've got Alistair Johnston. Trust he's starting to play a bit again. Maybe centre half, something we might look at. The midfield, Engels, what an investment. I think but to sell him just now, we'd be talking in excess of 25 million. He's broke into the Belgium team. It's just calm. Paulo Bernardo always contributes, and what a Steele McCowan's been. So you can see that we're starting to really build a good young squad. So probably why I was so disappointed Kyogo left. That's in it. Goal scorers are always hard to find, but we've got one in Anida who's stepped up. We know Jota will add goals and assists. Kuhn's played in the season so far, and what he's doing in goals and assists, his numbers scary. So I think we're in a good place. And then you've got the Duracell bunny, you've got Daizen Maeda. Goals, assists, work rate, he's got everything. I mean, I think that's we've only got two of the Japanese players left, but he's definitely the one I'd want to keep out of the two. I think he just gives.
I would agree with you. Yeah. I think he's the one that resonates the most with the fans as well. And I mean that with no disrespect to the Tati, but there's certain things as a Celtic fan you love to see on the park, and it's that heavy work rate, it's the the pace, it's maybe the slight craziness that comes with some of Maeda's output as well. The unpredictability, but there's something inherently likeable about him. And then you cap it all off. You see him. Celebrating these two lovely children on the park, having a kick about.
Billy gets sent off. I mean, I thought that was a foul.
Oh yeah.
You go, well, far if you're looking at that, it's probably a red card tackle on it to begin with. So listen, it's going to be a huge miss against Bayern. Shame it was, the two games and not the one. I didn't think it had been serious enough for the two, but what do I know? We're still waiting a UEFA announcement whether the fans are banned or not, aren't they?
I know. There was some false hope earlier. We thought they made a decision to not pursue, but then the club did clarify that. So I mean, fingers crossed for everyone, particularly those who are regular away fans and travellers, that they get the opportunity to go, because it's a showpiece game, and it's the reason we came into this competition was to face this type of opposition. I know we're not necessarily always confident about getting a result against them, but this is why you want to be at the top table. You want to be with the big boys.
I think the fans will be going to Munich, whether they're allowed in the ground or not. I think that's it. It'd be a great trip away. There's many people travel without tickets, and to be honest, lots of the flights will already have been booked, the flights and hotel rooms and stuff. So
absolutely, which is something I wish they'd consider. Yeah, but I wish what you said there, Lawrence, about the fact travel is booked, accommodations booked. This is something that I wish the authorities would look at. I mean, yes, okay, look, one idiot. Or a handful of idiots have caused these issues. But there are so many, decent, honest fans in the stadium who do, plan their lives and their schedules around, Celtic's away trips and forms, and they go and they don't cause any trouble, and they're generally, a great part of it. Yet collectively they're punished for the actions of a few. And do you think the punishment fits the crime?
Collective punishment, if that's what they decide, that it's up to them. It always seems harsh. I don't know how else they could do it. The next game, when flights have already been booked, losing money, we don't really care people's losing money. I really wish they would look at, the pyros, smoke bombs, they add something to the atmosphere. How can we do this safely? Rather than just saying, these are banned, we don't want this. You can go back to political process. It's okay to have a Ukraine flag, but it's not okay to have a Palestinian flag. If I don't care, it's think like us and, just hold our causes there and that's fine. But if you want to have some kind of political output yourself or some kind of freedom of expression that they don't agree with, it's punishment. It's just bullying, isn't it? It's it's not bullying arbitration, and it's just bullying by them. You ask yourself. You look what they tried with Celtic fans and the Palestinian protests. Why is Israel still in UEFA competitions? It's crazy. Not in part of Europe. Why are they in? That I think there's a number of countries in Europe with arrest a prime minister for war crimes, but UEFA don't seem to want to take any sanctions. So the sanction a guy with a smoke bomb, and a number of fans because a couple of guys with a smoke bomb. Yeah, nice and easy target for them, isn't it? They'd be better looking at it and go, look, this adds something to it. It's certainly the culture of football. How can we do this safely and encourage this kind of fan involvement?
A bit of collaboration, bit of communication.
Roy Keane's saying, it's too many prawn sandwiches brigade. Remember that. You want the crowd involvement. You want people who are passionate and care about football. And generally these boys do. Be better to find a better way to do it rather than just saying you're not allowed that and we're just going to ban collective banning fans.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think safety's paramount, Lawrence, but we do want to make sure that you don't dilute the atmosphere and what makes football so enjoyable. But I think we'd all agree that the safety has to be the top consideration. So open a dialogue and see how that goes. Sean, welcome, mate. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, what time is it where you're?
3:30.
3:30. How's this for commitment? How's that for commitment? So we've been talking all things the match. Been talking some of the upcoming potential action by UEFA in terms of the away fans coming into the European game. But I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the lineup yet, Sean. Any thoughts on the game?
I've not. I've just crawled out my pit. Jota starts. That's interesting.
Yes. I can make this easy for you.
Apart from that, it's a pretty strong lineup. It's good to see Engels back in. He's been in great form lately. So Dundee, it's a good time to get them, isn't it? After getting scudded 6-0 at home at the weekend. So they've also signed a lot of players. So I'm hoping that also works against them. That there might be some discontinuity in their squad and performance. So I actually got a pretty positive vibe feeling. I guess, even though I know we did struggle against them in the last game, the 3-3 game, I think with their turnover and with this being at Celtic Park, and with you get beat 6-0 by any team, your confidence is going to take a hit. So if they come out tonight and play well, then that's a big up to Tony Docherty and the job he's doing. But my feeling is it's going to go more towards the side of they're going to have just been scudded 6-0 by Hearts and are going to be, oh God, now we need to play Celtic. So I've got a feeling that could work in our favour. But these things can also, that the responsibility is Celtic's in a sense to try and get a goal relatively early. If we can get a goal in the first 20 minutes, then that really does reinforce that mental any mental damage they would have taken at the weekend. So I'm hoping if we do get a goal in the first 20 minutes, it could be an entertaining night. But who knows? These things, you never know. Never goes to plan, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it could be the night where the boy from Portugal comes home properly back in front of the home fans, and adds to his excellent cameo in his last game there. Just as we've not spoken yet, Sean, just any of your thoughts on the new signing, Jeff Schlupp? Are you aware of the player? Any thoughts on what he could bring to the table?
From what I know of him, he's quite a powerful player. So he could be quite additive. Obviously, he's not young, but if he's got comes up here with hunger and desire to win trophies, then he could certainly add something to our team. He's flexible, plays left back, left wing. He can. He's played striker before as well. Hopefully, that's not what he's up here to do. But yeah, I'm hopeful we've got the whole like a new signing in Johnny Kenny as well, because he was getting big up to the media as well. So that's be interesting to see if he gets on at some point. So it could be a night for Johnny Kenny to score a goal.
Could be, and we'll want to rely on him as well. I'm just going to bring in some of the comments now ahead of the kickoff. We're getting fairly close, just 5 minutes to go. This comment, would you believe, actually came in at 11:27 this morning from Jungle Lion. This is what happens when Paul John sets up the stream so early when I'm hosting, because he's the only one that can do it. So afternoon all, but we'll just assume that means evening all for Jungle Lion. And first, as always, Celtic follower also come in early, but I think this is a pertinent point. Hopefully a good result, no injuries, which I think is key, and the 3 points. Patrick Doherty comes in, hail, hail. Another favourite, Aximer, the Urban Culture comes in to say Glasgow Celtic 4, Dundee 0. I take that. Anthony McShane, welcome. We will now find out if Ida can realise his potential, if Maeda is a genuine striker when played there, and whether Kenny can break through. Yeah, I think it's important actually that Ida takes his opportunity. He has done the first 2 games. I think he's firmly established. What we need now is consistency. But I think to Sean's point, and something Lauren said earlier, we need to be able to give the backup players like Kenny the opportunity to show what they can do as well, and to demonstrate that they can be relied upon as and when they're called upon. Brendan McCarthy comes in, a good win Celtic. Hopefully that's what we're saying at the end of the match. M Young comes in, says Rocky not even on the bench, send to the MLS so we can play, earn a move, and we can get our money back. Yeah, and Nawrocki is a bit of a strange one. Signed for not a slight sum of money by our standards, and alongside Lagerbielke, definitely not in the manager's plans. There's been in and around the match squad, but certainly you don't have the confidence that he's going to come in. It's time to cut the losses on Nawrocki, isn't it, Lawrence?
Listen, he's a big player. He looks as if to have all the physical attributes. He struggled with injury and staying fit. Liam Scales it looks like he's seen off another centre half, doesn't it? Carter Vickers is obviously the starter. Trust he's coming out 6 million. Rocky clearly isn't doing it in training. He's not impressing Brendan enough to get in there. He's made the bench a couple of times, but his 4th choice, if he's lucky, I think, with Dane Murray coming back, and Brendan's talking about working with young players and wanting to develop them. I think Dane Murray's probably ahead of him just now, certainly for a future at Celtic. If we could have got money for Rocky there, I've no doubt we would attain it, and I don't think we'd have really been much weaker as a squad. Your 4 centre halves for the last 20 games of the season were Carter Vickers, Crusty, Scales, and Murray. Is Rocky adding anything to make a 5th one? Probably not.
Probably not. No, I would agree with that. All right, gents, we're rapidly approaching kick-off time. So, Sean, I'm going to ask you for your prediction.
I'm going to say 4-0. I don't know if that's too optimistic, but I'm going with it.
Is that by half time or is that full time?
Full time, I think.
Excellent. And Lawrence, same question.
Yeah, I'm 4-0, but I'm not going my usual 1-0, then 4-0. I'm going to go 3-0 by half time and 4-0 full time. I think if we get 3 up, we'll see the new signing Schlupp, probably see Kenny, and try and give some of the other players a rest for the big games ahead.
I see that. Yep, still good result. I'm feeling pretty good again tonight. I'm going to go for a 5-0. I think wee bit of a statement win. I think we'll go all guns blazing first half, and I think we might get 2 goals second half. So I'll go 3-0 half time and eventual 5-0 by full time. Guys, thanks very much for joining. We will see you at half time. I don't think we'll see you, Lawrence. I think you're dropping off, but myself and Sean will pick up the mantle, keep going. So thanks very much, Lawrence. I appreciate you coming on. Otherwise, I'd have been on my own with the comments for a fair bit of this. So nobody wants to watch that, including me. So thanks very much. Guys, enjoy the game. I will see you at half time. Thanks everyone who contributed and commented. Sorry we couldn't get through all the comments. We'll try and bring a few more up at half time and full time. Over 1,000 strong. Here's hoping we get a good result, and we're talking positively at half time. On the hoops.